babe. Fine, babe. Fine, babe.
And it gets your face like warmed up.
Super serious.
Where nothing fun or funny ever happens.
This is a super serious thing.
I don't even like dogs.
Super serious.
Oh, I see that red button.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Super Serious Dog Podcast. I'm Misha Bielitsky. I'm joined by my co-host, Courtney Cuellar, and we have a special return guest today, Hannalore Tice. I almost said your name because I'm so used to seeing it on Facebook.
I mean, that's the type of introduction that I really am going for, so I'm down with that.
Welcome back. Glad to have you. How's the weather in Boston right now?
So it's actually gorgeous. It's getting dark, but it's totally doable. I have the windows open and just getting some fresh air. And also there's no snow left. And you realize you've been actually a terrible adult and human, and there's dog poop everywhere. And now I've got to do all those things that we make fun of everybody else about and pick up their own dog poop, you know?
Oh my gosh. I experienced that. So I don't know if you heard, but Texas had kind of a freak winter storm. And I mean, my yard was like 6 inches at all times of snow and ice. And like, I was letting the dogs out. They were going to the bathroom, but I wasn't scooping.
You're like, it's gone. It's
gone. It's just magic. It's gone. And then all of the snow and ice melted and it was disgusting. I was like, wow, that's a lot of dog shit. Let's get to scooping. And it's
also like lightly, like it's kind of like soft and gross.
Yeah, it's like fresh. Like it just happened. It's well moisturized shit. It's not dried at all. Yeah.
It's Sula. I will say that my friend Thora suggested, and I haven't set it up yet, but I'm really like, it's like that weird adult dog professional thing. You're like, how do I clean up this shit and make this place look great? Right? I got like, I ordered, it's like a wishy-washy or washy-wishy.
A wizzy-wash?
Oh, yeah.
A wizzy-wash?
Yes.
About. So I have not set it up. I haven't used it yet, but I'm very much looking forward to that like first patio / mulch clean of the season, because it's pretty ripe right now.
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty ripe. It's ripe.
I use a hydrofoamer. That's what I use.
Ooh.
And I put my own chemicals, my own mix of chemicals. No, it's just 256. It's nothing fancy. And because I have a rock yard, so I sanitize the rocks. So
yes. That's super important.
Yeah.
Sula.
Sula's like,
right?
Who's Sula? Tell us about Sula, Hannalore.
And actually, speaking of potty training, also when I got Sula, so I'll tell you guys all about my Sula. I'm very excited about her. She's my puppy that I got after I made fun of everybody else for getting pandemic puppies. And then I got tagged on the internet and I got this puppy now. And but I potty trained her in like 48 hours during a snowstorm.
Wow.
Then the snow disappeared. And then now she doesn't know how to go to the bathroom again. So we're re-potty training because she thinks that like snowbanks are where she pees and poops. And like, you know, and she's like outside frantically searching for like the smallest piece of ice and snow left.
You like go get some ice from your freezer.
Exactly.
Like, here you go, baby.
We went down to our dock diving lesson the other day, and I saw like a snowbank, and I had that like hesitation where I'm like, do I pull over and just like give her the satisfaction of being in the snowbank? Because
did you do it? Did you cave?
I did not do it.
Good for you.
I did not do it.
Good
I
for
did
you.
not do it.
So tempting to have shit or pee for a puppy like that, but like, don't do it if you can help it, man. Gotta be strong. Gotta be brave.
I know. I think that comes to like our first thing is that, you know, I would never let my clients do that. And here I was like,
do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
So pandemic puppy. So early at some point in the pandemic, I don't know, it's all kind of a blur now, but we did an episode on quarantine puppy syndrome because I was like, this is going to be a thing. This is going to be a thing. And now the term pandemic puppy is being widely used by all dog professionals. What's your experience with it?
Well, so we live in Boston, so we have, you know, a lot of people really do struggle with that, like that balance in general. They haven't gotten a dog. Boston isn't also the most dog friendly. Like finding a dog friendly apartments is actually really complicated and really, but so all of a sudden it's kind of like, it was like a pattern, right? A lot of people left Boston, which opened up a lot of apartments for dog friendly apartments. Then people got puppies, right? And now I'm also like, I am struggling a little bit is a lot of people are really going for their first time dog owners. They've never had a dog. They're in the like, I'm getting a puppy and I'm going to make it an Instagram and I'm going to do all of these things. And don't get me wrong, I have a lot of amazing puppies with really great Instagrams. But I think they're kind of just getting that like dog that's going to be like the face of something and not really thinking about the right breed, you know?
Right.
And again, I say this with a lot of love. I love my clients and I love the dogs they have, but we have an extensive amount of corgis and we have an extensive amount of doodles and all of them are having a really hard time. You know, I have strong opinions about doodles, obviously, in general, we all do. But they're really struggling because these are dogs that have a lot of like some possession stuff, right? Like especially a corgo, right? We call
Corgi,
them the BFTD corgos. Like they do have possession stuff. And if you're not really integrating independence from the beginning in that breed and establishing the boundaries and rules and for them, right? They're really hard to go backwards with.
Yeah.
I'm finding, you know, and also I'm having a hard time going backwards with our clients as well. They're struggling just as much as the dogs, like finding that balance because their expectations of what puppyhood was going to be. And it's great. And I'm working from home and like, they're also, so what's happening is we're also not getting a lot of calls until there's a problem.
Yeah.
And then they're wanting quick fixes, which is not what a good professional dog trainer is going to want to do. Right. And we're here like, okay, let's assess the problem. How do we reestablish our lifestyle, set you up for success, let the puppy up for success. So it's been a lot and I'm feeling sad for the dogs. And I feel there has also been an unnecessary amount of pressure on rescues and breeders too. And I've been noticing it's kind of like some of these breeders are like pushing out litters, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more than they would. And that's a lot of pressure on their bitches. And like, you know,
and on like the inevitable returns, especially if they do take their dogs back, which a good breeder should. I'm going to reiterate that, everybody.
Yep, exactly.
Breeders should take their puppy back for any reason whatsoever. So that just really kind of makes their load that much heavier.
Yeah, it is a lot, and it's putting a lot of responsibility, I think, on different trainers as well. I know that my team is definitely feeling the weight of it. Like, it's like they come to us, ask for help. We give the help, we give the guidance. And then they're like, but I don't really want to do that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, like, you know, and as you guys know, I've talked about it in the past, I have really, really on board clients. It's kind of part of my onboarding, but I am seeing we are having kind of like a phase of these dog owners that might be in over their head or they got it for the idea, like, you know, and now these poor
had
dogs
really pretty eyes or they
really
saw a
pretty
really
eyes
cute one time.
Or I mean,
Exactly.
honestly, I know a lot of people, like a lot of my clients had the best intentions. Like,
they really do.
We've been wanting a dog forever. We've been thinking about it, but we finally, you know, like it just didn't work out because of time, whatever. Now I have the time
because I'm going to be home.
Right. But they don't account for like the added stress and like just the fatigue that you can't possibly understand and plan for. Like unless you've been through a pandemic, unless you happened to be in China when SARS hit or in, some other country when Ebola was taking over, right? Like you can't possibly understand what that's like. And so, good intentions, but like, the hard part is like, how do you rectify that? And how do you reconcile the difference, right? Between what your intentions were and what actually happened. That's tough. That's really, really tough. As you can see, Rocky's demonstrating how tough it is.
It's very tough, right? I'm trying to pay attention. I said something the other day in a post. So I'm like, you know, talking shit, right? About pandemic puppies. And what did I do? I got a pandemic puppy. I was actually, my intentions was to get a puppy in 2 years. And I had my eye on a litter of the client's breed. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about her. She's really kind of cool. Just forgot where I was going.
You're talking shit about pandemic puppies.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got one.
I ended up getting this a pandemic puppy, but I said something the other day that I just like didn't even realize that I said it. It was so important. I have not let Sula do anything that I have to untrain.
Yeah.
She doesn't get touched by strangers. She doesn't like I've traveled. She's 15 weeks old and I've traveled across the country twice now, right? I flew out to Bend when she was 13 and a half weeks in a tiny little bag. We won't talk about how tiny it was and how big she was, right? And I put my little puppy in this bag and she made it 10 and a half hours, right?
That's
she
amazing.
was fucking sane for 3 hours after that. But, you know, she rocked that 10 and a half hours. She didn't bark at people. Even when I took her out, like she doesn't even know to like get frustrated by the things that she can't get because she's never had them once. Yeah. Right. So one thing that I've been really like, I've learned from when I was working with all these puppies is that like the most success that I have with dogs is when they never have the opportunity to know that it's wrong. Right. And so
but that's also assuming like that those dogs get to see that. Cause what we see a lot of is those people who like, oh, we got a really late start on socialization. Here's my 9-month-old dog. And it's like, you kind of miss that window. You're not socializing
it's not
anymore.
Just a late start. We're far behind.
You're correcting like your kids in like remedial classes now. And like we have to start really slow.
And now it's management. It's not even training. It's management.
You need to adjust your expectation of what you wanted to do, what you planned. And like, don't get me wrong, it's hard, especially if you have really bad anxiety, especially surrounding the whole pandemic and everything. Like it can be really hard to go out in public, but like you can go outside to a park or you can go stand in a parking lot and not go inside of a store, right? There's things that you could have done to kind of mitigate that. Or
so you said something there, Misha. Everybody responds to stress differently.
Yes.
And so everybody experienced this pandemic and this last year differently.
Yep.
And the dog that they brought into their home had to deal with that side of them, whatever that side was, whether they were more anxious, whether they were lazy, whether they were more manic, whatever it may have been, everybody's their own. But that dog had to watch you go through that while it's developing how it takes in the universe. So you probably weren't consistent and clear and, really good at communicating in that time.
And it's really, and exactly. And like, and also like, I'm not going to lie. I haven't had a puppy since Esther and she doesn't count. She doesn't count. I mean, I haven't had a puppy since before I knew anything really. Like, I think like over 15 years ago. Right. So like, I just like wasn't going to screw her up because she is like a future service dog. I wasn't really planning on, like I said, getting her for 2 more years and she kind of fell into my lap. But I'm really like blown away. I think she's also fucking genius. Maybe everybody says that and every client says that to me. I just did what they say to me. Right. But she's really extensively intelligent. It's actually why I ended up getting her. But yeah, it's like, it's like, I wish I could just like shout from the rooftops, all these things for people to not make the mistakes of, right? Please don't do this because then we don't have to go backwards before we go forward. So I think that that's the biggest thing is that there's a lot of going backwards with our pandemic puppies before we actually get to go forward. And that's been one of the hardest things for me because I'm just like, like I know you had such good intentions and we don't know what we don't know, but like, that was too much socialization. And now your dog is overstimulated
and
all the
how
time.
Frustrating is that too for the client to hear, like, I just need to fix this one very minor problem. More often than it's jumping on people, right?
Yeah.
Or digging.
Like, or digging, right? It's usually like, it's usually not a big problem, but like how frustrating is it to hear, like, I just want to fix this one problem. And we go, oh, actually, after talking to you for an hour,
there's so many problems.
Do a lot more shit than just fix the digging. And here's why. And it's because you're behind. And it's like, well, I thought I was just going to get this one little taste of like, all right, here's a little bit of homework that I have to do.
Yeah.
Now you're telling me I have like 6 months to a year of homework before I even really get to where I really wanted to be with this dog. Like,
but it all connects, right? It's like this, it's like the infinity symbol of like, you're starting here to get to here, but it all loops back because if you're not doing this, you're not going to get to this. And it's a never ending. And then like you're going to get this behavior fixed, but then you stop doing this, which is creating your fucking dogs, right? And and then it just
but it whined, Hannalore. It whined and it made
I didn't sleep for 3 weeks straight, and like I had like a couple clients that were crate training at the same time, and they were trying to complain to me, and I was like, I have 10 dogs and a puppy going through potty training and crate training. I just don't care.
She was difficult about crate training too. I remember watching all your posts of like, be strong.
It was, and my poor mother, like I took Zula home, and my mom had to like close her sewing room door, and she was like crying in the back room. She's like, I can't take this. This is so hard. And I was like, be strong.
and that's the thing too, is like, the hardest part is like most people would probably have the resilience, like at least a little bit more resilience than what they had, especially when it comes to like crate training or anything like that, because they have the capacity for it. But during a pandemic, when you're already feeling sad and overwhelmed, and regardless of your political views, right? Like there's just a lot of conflicts just politically.
Both ways, right?
Yeah, let alone all the emotional shit people are going through, let alone, maybe family members getting really sick or friends passing or whatever, right? You don't really, when your puppy starts crying and you're already sad inside.
Oh, it hits you right in the soul.
Hard. Yeah. That weight is suddenly 10 times heavier.
It's so, so important for puppies to learn to deal with frustration, to learn that they won't get everything they want in life, and they need to soothe themselves, and they just need to be patient, and they just need to be where they are and chill out. But that is a frustrating process to watch. And so, I completely agree that people's capacity or resilience to deal with that has gone down. And I mean,
has decreased.
Yeah. And especially like people, oh, you're sad, but I still got to go to work. So whatever happens in that crate for the next 4 hours till my lunch break, I'm not here to hear it, but now they're here and they're on like a Zoom call, and they can't have the puppy crying in the background. That's
and it was hard. So I was in I try to be a positive sometimes.
Try is the word
really hard. I just like have so many things to say with a very minimal filter, so it's really hard. But I was like in a doodle group today, which again, strong feelings about doodles, but like I try to guide them, because I know that doodles also tend to be more of like those first time dog owners. Like it's truly like the first time dog owner, because it's the fad dog, right? And
their neighbor had one, or their friend down the street had one, or
and they're really cute, and like I follow this one on Instagram.
Hypoallergenic.
It's hypoallergenic, and I was like, guys, the only dogs I've ever had an allergic reaction to has been a doodle, and it's because they hold so much dirt in their fur. It's gross and dirty. They're like pig pen on the ground. Side note, right? But
because they don't shed that dirt.
Yeah,
they don't shed the dirt. They don't shake it, right? But yeah, so somebody was like, I went back to work and I immediately need a bark collar. What should I get? Where can I get it today? I have no time for training. And my response back was, when did you get her? Are you crate training? They're like, no, we did no training, but my husband's home and he can't work. And it was just like this, like, so you're going to literally correct the dog in the most terrible way. He's probably going to try to bark through it, which is like the worst sound ever. When you know what I mean?
And then they get bark,
and then they can start spinning
and it cycles.
Yeah.
And I'm just like so terrified, because I would never want a dog to get that form of correction, because like if you're not getting correction without being told and helped and guided and reinforced for the right thing to do,
up for failure,
you're set. And she was just like, I'm not here for a debate. So, and then all of the pro positive people in this group were like, citronella bark collars. I was like, that's actually worse.
Yeah. And it runs out so fast too. Like
it runs out fast. You're taking this strong scent to an animal that uses sensory, like that's such a strong sense, and you're just going to blast him with it.
How insulting. Like that's insulting and abrasive and
I was trying my best to be as neutral. So I was like, here's my information. I'll help you with training. Here's a really good bark collar. Like if you're going to do it, please use one that has a limiter and not the pet safe one that you buy on Amazon.
Yeah.
At least don't buy a hot collar. You know what I mean? So it is hard because I really want people to be successful with their dogs. So I think the biggest thing is that people are not proactively working with their dogs until there's a problem. And that's hard for the dog, you know?
I think the hardest thing that's the most fatiguing for us on the professional side is that like, there's no responsibility taken for that lack of setting the dog up for success. They're just like, I just need a solution now. And it's like, well, okay, but this is all your fault. Like in the nicest way possible. Yep. This is your fucking fault. So you need to do a little bit more before you just kind of say, I need this from you. And of course, like you can't help everybody, right? Some people, they're just like, I don't give a shit. I'd rather throw money at the problem, whatever. And that's when you go, cool, give me a board and train.
I'll take your board and train for sure. And especially we just actually, Katie, one of my trainers, just did a board and train for actually it was like a mini Aussie Doodle or something. Olaf. I never even say this, and I loved him. And he was solid. And it's because they were like, you know what? We have no idea what we're doing. Here's this 9-week-old puppy. Please teach him the basics and then teach us what to do.
Yep.
Like, and I was like, these are the people that I love. Like, I appreciate you with big hearts, you know? Yeah. And again, I actually am really lucky. I really, truly love my clients. Like all of my clients, even my challenging ones, they're challenging, but I'm also really challenging. So, you know, we're in this together and I think it comes down to a lot of like my onboarding process. Like I do pick and choose who I want to bring on, but I still want to help people, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really tough though when people get in their own way. Right? Did y'all hear Rocky bark just now? I think he's
one single bark.
Just one little rep.
Is he trying to get Molly to play?
Maybe. He might. Him and Molly get along so well.
Courtney, one thing you kind of started hitting on too, also, it's then, or I think it was both, we all said it, then all of a sudden it's your problem that you can't get them in fast enough, right?
Yes.
Or it's your problem when they want to rehome the dog.
That one gets me the most. My problem. And it's like, it is immediate. If you don't take this dog right now, I'm going to euthanize it. Like, what did the dog do wrong? The only thing the dog did wrong was not do the things you never taught it how to do right in the first place, you know? And it's like, that is really, really hard for me is going back to what you guys said. It's like, we are adults, right? I think sometimes taking responsibility of adults
of the age, right? But taking responsibility is really like something people really struggle with. And like, you know, and, so I'm, like I said, like the clients that we have are awesome. They've taken responsibility. They're like, we fucked up. And I'm like, it's cool, we'll fix it. You know, and like I'm down.
Everybody fucks up sometimes.
Like,
we all fuck up all the time.
Fuck, right? Like I fuck up with shit all the time. Like, you know, and it's just you identify it, move on, right? But it's the ones that are like, I fucked up, but I'm not gonna admit that I fucked up, but now it's your problem. And if you can't fix it immediately, then I don't want this dog. You know,
you don't fix it completely. Even if it's not a problem that can be
or you're not good enough. You're not a good enough trainer. We'll go find somebody else that's more convenient. I was like, that's fine. I mean, there's plenty of dogs and I love other trainers. So like, you know, like go ahead. That's fine. You're going to get the same thing.
You know what else is really fatiguing is those clients that like, you talk about all the tools pretty early on and like, cause they want to know, right? They want to know all the things of like, and I'm like, okay, here's the basics. If you do this, you won't have to buy any of these fucking tools, right? You don't do it. So then they're like, okay, we need a tool. I'm like, okay, fine. You still have to do the work, by the way. It's just the tool is just like your training wheels. That's it. You still have
We're going to take them off eventually, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then every time you go over to their house, they're like, I bought this. And it's an oversized pinch collar that's way too big. And it's hanging like way the fuck down by their like their like breast or like their shoulders or whatever. And like, you're just like, what? First of all, who the fuck fitted this thing on your dog? And
we need to talk to that person.
Remember when I told you about all the tools and which ones I said would be good and why? Well, that one wasn't working. And I'm like, yeah, were you doing the homework? Well, no.
Yeah, quick
Nothing's
fixes.
gonna
Quick
work.
fixes.
Literally nothing is gonna work. I honestly like soft fired one of those clients that
Yeah,
kept
I mean, and it's like
You
I
have
have a
to
lot
sometimes.
of clients that want to
Yeah.
be here doing the work. So,
yeah.
you know, like, and I'm happy to just like, and, you know, not every client is the right fit for you, and that is okay, right? And like,
Right.
you know, and I know that like even for me, I said this on our last time chatting, like finding the right fit with your trainers. Also, like I have a team. Each one of my team members is a different personality, right? You know, one team member is going to train with one client one way, and I'm going to train another, and then I'm going to come in and tell them to all fuck off. You know, like, and usually they laugh at it because they're like, "You're right," you know, and that's the type of clients that I'm bringing on, that I can be just myself, you know, and be able to be like, okay, guys, this is like a real serious conversation. I want to set you up. Your dog is not going anywhere for a really long time. And your dog is too young for you already to be this level of frustrated with your dog. Right. And I am dealing with a lot of like, I need to take there was a pandemic. I need to social distance. So I'm taking my dogs to the dog park for social distancing. Socialization. And I was like, so just so you know, socialization can also be you like filling a kiddie pool with your empty beer cans that you drank during the pandemic, right? And throwing your kibble in there, like, or, you know, walking on weird surfaces, or like doing trick games.
Going
like,
to the park and sitting on a bench and not interacting with a single
eating your
fucking
meals
person.
every time, like, you know, or training your reactive dog outside of the park to focus on you instead of being like in the park where they're going to set up for failure. There's no escape. Like, so I think we've done a pretty good job. It's helping our clients be like, okay, I had the wrong idea of what socialization is. So now it's my opportunity as BFTD to help them be like, what is going to be a more successful, quote unquote, socialization? And what is that to you? And it's, again, navigating the world with all of the chaos going around of it, and your dog still wanting to focus on you, Pratt, instead of the chaos around us. And I think that that's what we're trying to help our clients. And that's really what I'm doing with Sula as well. Because if she's going to do service work and sport work, I want that relationship from the beginning, you know, and that's what I've been really working with her.
Yeah.
So what kind of dog is Sula? We haven't gotten into that.
Yes. Okay. So I'll bring her out in a minute. She'll say hi before we go. So Sula is an old time Scotch Collie. So Sula came from a really awesome breeder. Her name is Amanda, Lands Hollow Farm in Connecticut. And she is part of a preservation breed program. And she is a loose eye collie. So they're, instead of that like hard stare, like the border collie, and they like crouch and stuff, she is just like, I'm here. They date back really long time, lots of years, right? And they were kind of like, they're also a land race. So if you do like a embark, there's going to be like, it's kind of like Patterdales. They're still a land race, right? And
what's a land
old time
race?
Scott.
What does
So
that mean?
land race is like, there isn't a true Patterdale line yet. So
Gotcha.
it's like to preserve the breed or create a breed, right? Either way, how you're doing it. Like there's kind of, it's the Lakeland Terrier and the Irish Terrier. And then sometimes they breed in some pitties, but it's still a Patterdale, right?
Right.
So she's a land race. So, which also means she's related to a lot of other collies, right? There's a lot of inline breeding that happens. So she is really amazing because she's a herder, but she's also a flusher. And then they also bred them to be companions in the city in Scotland. So it's like, it was the dog that left the farm with the person, went and slept in the bed with the family. Also, it guarded the human in the city. And they were really bred to be a more dynamic breed than just on the farm working dog.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have, the old time Scotch Collie also has the ability, except for Sula, to have a little bit more downtime. Like if they're not working, they're chill. They're just like laying in the field. They're almost like they're kind of like a guardian breed. Like you see like a guardian breed just like laying outside his flock, right? Yeah. Like, so an old time Scotch Collie does a lot of that, like lays on the edge of their flocks, but on command, they'll flush another flock, maybe like wild geese, out of a field and then kill all the mice. Right.
Nice.
So they're just like this really incredibly balanced dog. So if you
Sounds very
took all of,
versatile.
and if you took kind of like all of the little collies, right, and kind of put them together, you get the old time Scotch Collie. And
when Misha sent me pictures of your puppy, one of the pictures, it was like a side view of her. It looked like a smooth collie, but with the colors wrong. Like,
I'll show you guys a picture. This is the picture that I got. I got tagged on Facebook like 8 times, and everybody's like, "Look at this crazy dog! She's perfect for you." And it reminded me of a meme, Misha, that you shared the other day. It was like, perfect dog, one with issues. Here, you come to mom, right? This was the picture of her at 4 weeks old.
Oh my gosh.
So she was actually supposed to go to another home, and they were like, we can't put this dog in a normal home. She's 4 weeks old and was climbing
crazy.
6-foot fences.
For the people that couldn't see that was
a
4-week-old puppy had climbed a like goat pen fencing.
Yeah.
It's probably like 4 or 5 feet high.
Yeah.
And she's like about to come over the top of it, and the rest of the litter is sitting down on the ground, like just kind of looking up at
tiny
her, like,
little ball.
We don't know what that puppy's doing.
Yeah, she's like, I'm out. This is boring. You guys suck.
Go get her.
Yeah, she's okay. Yeah, I'll grab her.
Go get her. I want to see her.
So yeah, she's really exciting. We've already started. Come here, Sula Bear. We've already started. She hates swimming, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Phoebe hated swimming. It's fine. She loves it now.
Look at that face.
Oh my gosh.
Say hi, guys. She's like,
it's a very like
up.
Dax-like face almost.
Yeah.
Dax looked a lot like that when he was a puppy.
How old is she now?
So if you're only listening to this episode,
you're missing out on some
go check it out on YouTube.
Right? Or Patreon. Hey, Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. And the Patreon. So yeah, no, she's really awesome. We went down to and trained with April Pelletier today on the South Shore, and she had got her introduction to disc rollers today.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's where you roll it on the ground, right? You like
but let me tell you, she did everything perfect. I am absolutely terrible at throwing a disc.
That was what I didn't realize there was so much of a learning curve with discs. You have to practice a lot without the dog.
Yeah, it's like you have to like throw it and to do a roller, then you have to like let it go this way, and then like I was like, Sula was like, Mom, I've got this. Like, why can't? What are you doing? Like this is embarrassing.
Like, woman, just throw it good. What are you doing?
Yeah, just roll this thing, So it's going to be really awesome. I'm really excited. I really have specialized most of my training in rescue rehab. And kind of like behavior modification. And I'm really excited to use this opportunity to have a dog that is a little bit different than my other dogs that I have. And I get to develop from the beginning. I get to do like possession games from the beginning. Like I don't have to, teach.
And then later you get to see where you fucked up.
Exactly. And I will call myself out. So,
we all create our own monsters.
Yeah,
100%,
right? Yeah,
100%.
She's really cute.
Well, on that note, of Sula being adorable and held like a literal baby right now. That is it for this episode. Thank y'all for sticking around or coming back if you're coming back from our break. Remember, you can go check out our Patreon. There's a lot more content. We're going to continue the conversation with Hannalore from Boston for the Dogs there. Hannalore, you want to plug your like Instagram and your Facebook and all that stuff?
Yeah, totally. Definitely hit us up. Our website is bostonforthedogs.com. And we're Boston for the Dogs on Instagram and Facebook as well. And also want to shout out to I have a Facebook group called Trainers Supporting Trainers. And it's a really fun, awesome. It's a really fun group. It's a lot of, and the thing that I like push the most in is post pictures of you training your dog. It's definitely a place where you can go to troubleshoot a dog you're working on, but I think it's an opportunity for us to advocate for each other to not get burnout and find some joy in training dogs. Because that's why we got into it in the first place.
We just got our rant
I love that
too,
right? And we can bitch, right? We can bitch about some things
like that dumb dogs do, like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty great group, and I'm happy. There's lots of great groups out there, but I like mine.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for being on the show, Hannalore.
Yeah,
for
of
your
course.
listeners, definitely go check out her stuff. She posts a lot of really great content. It's always entertaining and adorable. And then you might learn something too. And then you can email us if you have comments, questions, suggestions, people you want to see on the show, any of that kind of fun stuff at superseriousdogpodcast@gmail.com. And then you can go over to our Patreon at patreon.com/superseriousdogpodcast. If you can't support us financially, monetarily, you can also support us by sharing with your friends, liking, subscribing, doing the thumbs up on, rating
With the stars and the stuff.
the stars and
Yeah, you need one of those zooms.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, you can also support us that way because that also helps us grow. So thank y'all for being here, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
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 Super serious.